Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you all are having a good and productive and creatively fulfilled month so far. So, this week I wanted to talk about how to ask for feedback on your art. So, I am a part of a few art groups online, and I have noticed this even when I was tutoring that students and other people online would just post their artwork without giving any background whatsoever and just say, I would like some feedback, or critiques and comments are welcome. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean you will not get good feedback, but there are a variety of things people may notice, and you may not get the answer to your problem that you were looking for. So, before we get further into this, let me first talk about why I think feedback is necessary and why you should ask for it, even when sometimes you may not like what you hear, but still, I think it's very, very important. And I'll talk more about that. And then I'll get into how you should ask for it. And finally, how you can use that feedback effectively. Okay, so first let's talk about why it's important to get feedback. For me, personally, this was the best way to improve and constantly learn. If you're asking the right questions, feedback can be super effective. It also gives you a new set of eyes. When you look at your work all the time, sometimes you kind of can't look at the mistakes you've made, or because you've looked at it so much, you may just miss on the most obvious things like tangents, or hey, the anatomy is looking a little off, or you don't get a new perspective on it. So when you're asking for feedback, you get a new set of eyes. And this way, you also give yourself an opportunity to learn different techniques, effective solutions from artists who may have experienced a similar design problem. So definitely ask for feedback. So now that we have briefly established the why, let's talk a little bit about how. It's very important to ask for feedback the right way so that it gives you the information you're looking for, the solution to your problems, right? So here are a few things to keep in mind. First, give some background. Don't just post your artwork and expect feedback, right? Because if the people who are looking at your artwork have no idea what you're going for or what the purpose of this design was, they will not be able to give you good feedback. They may give you a lot of feedback, but it may not be necessarily relevant to what you were hoping to get out of the feedback. And that brings me to my next point. Be clear and precise about the feedback you're looking for. For example, you did a bunch of color studies for this illustration or this concept art piece you're working on, and instead of just saying, hey, which one do you like the most? The better way to ask this question may be to say, hey, I'm trying to invoke a certain feeling of sadness through this image. Which one does that the best? Now, what this does is it gives people enough information and you will get the exact answer you're looking for. So instead of just getting feedback for what looks pretty, and that may vary from person to person, this gives you the exact answer you're looking for. Third, let people know whether this is finished, unfinished, work in progress. Are you planning to work on something else, or are you kind of planning to change something on it? Because so often this happens that I give somebody feedback and they would say, hey, I was going to change that anyway. So if you don't want to hear something you already know, let people know so it wouldn't be repetitive. Fourth, if you just need a new set of eyes on your piece so people can point out something you may have missed, say that. This lines up with being very clear and precise about what you're looking for. Fifth, and this is very important, have an open mind. Now, you may hear things you don't particularly like, But remember, most artists just want to help. Of course, ignore the mean and rude people of the internet, but in general, listen to the feedback. And it's up to you to decide what you want to apply to your piece and what you don't. And I'll talk more about that on how to effectively apply the feedback to your artwork. But have an open mind. Don't just dismiss something because it's not what you wanted to hear. Because it's not going to be helpful if you don't actually listen to it and seriously consider it. The last thing I would like to say is that say thank you, right? Someone has taken out the time to offer you some expertise. Acknowledge that. So often I see this happen. People ask for feedback and there is no response whatsoever. It's kind of rude. Someone's taken out the time. Appreciate that and acknowledge it. Okay, now that you have the feedback, how can you use and apply it effectively? So you may have a lot of critiques, a lot of suggestions, a lot of opinions, and what you first want to do is filter it. Out of all the critiques you received, which ones work and fit the best with what you were looking for? Ask yourself that. And by this, I do not mean pick the easiest solution, but rather the one that would fix the problem. Keep your original objective in mind and use the feedback as guidance to get there. So even if it may mean having to start over again or, taking the longer route and it would mean investing a lot more time into it, if it fixes the problem, pick that solution. The second, analyze all the feedback, right? What would be the best way to apply this feedback? Look at all the possible options. Is there an easier way to do this? And by that, I mean efficient. Easy is probably not the right word. A more efficient way of fixing this. Look at everything, analyze your options, and pick the one that works the best. And the last, obviously, apply. Now that you know how to fix the problem, fix it. It's as simple as that. Well, not as easy as it sounds, but now at least you know what to do to fix it. So I hope these tips have given you an idea of how to ask for feedback, and I hope when you apply these, you get some good constructive criticism and feedback. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and if you have any more questions about asking for feedback, I would love to answer them. And if you have any suggestions on how to effectively ask for feedback, please mention them in the comments below. So thank you for being here, and don't forget, if you like the content of my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. I'm so glad that you all are here. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of the week, and I will see you all back here next week. Bye.